Scheimer. It is my absolute honor to introduce Reverend J. Lang to all of you today. As was mentioned by Elliot, he comes to us from Napa Valley, where he is the senior minister there. He also believes that spiritual communities like ours can raise the consciousness of the entire planet and make a real difference in this world. Reverend J. Lang.
Thank you, Kathy. It's great to be here today. Wow, wait a minute. I get it now. Abigail talks about the shining faces in this community. Now I really see them. Wow. So we switched places, Abigail and I, and she is about to start her second service. And I'm a baseball fan, big Giants fan. I don't know about anybody else. But I tend to think about this as a baseball trade, what she and I did. And I think I got the better deal. I'll tell you why. First of all, I only have to do one service. She's about to start our second service. And the other part is I got to bring my wife, and Abigail's wife is here. So I think I got the better deal. What do you think? Plus, I get you guys, right? So today's talk is about why not be free, and it's part of the new theme for the month, loving kindness and forgiveness. And what's interesting is when I came in today and talked to Deanna, she'd assumed, she knew the theme, but there was supposed to be a different talk title. And Abigail and I talked last week, and we didn't like the talk title, so we both switched it. And she's speaking about why not be free in Napa right now. And when I mentioned that to Deanna, she goes, oh, I was just writing a song last night, and we started talking, and it fit right into what I was talking about. And this is spiritual revelation, right? So I don't know if you know what a gym you have in Deanna, but she was up till midnight writing a song because this one right here, right, that fit perfectly in today's talk. So let's give her another round of applause. The other thing is I love coming into San Francisco, although we're south of San Francisco now in Redwood City. We came through San Francisco to come in here. And a couple things. We've just been in Napa for 2 years now. We moved from Denver, Colorado. We are part of a bigger church there. And we love the valley and we love the Bay Area. But there's a couple things I needed to learn about San Francisco when I came in here. The first thing I learned is that you don't call it Frisco or San Fran, it's the city, right? Even though people from New York don't understand that at all, but it's the city and will always be the city, right? I love coming into this weekend, this title, Why Not Be Free, because this idea, June was Pride Month. And it's been, I don't know about you, but in Napa we have celebrated it. We have our own Pride week. It's not quite what it is in the city or around here, but we have our own Pride week, and we've been flying our rainbow flag proudly in the month of June. But it's been a bittersweet month with the events in Orlando. And yet it's made us more resolved and be an advocate for all GLBTQ rights and concerns and issues. And I know this community stands with that too, and that. But why not be free? And I wanted to continue in that theme because freedom is about all religions, all orientations, all faiths as we walk into this truth about who we are and how we go forth. And what I know about freedom is it's something inside of us. Yes, it is the external parts of freedom that we enjoy in this country, the right to speak, the right to assemble, the right to vote. Those are all important things. But what I know as a spiritual being and in this spiritual community and all spiritual communities, that we recognize that freedom is something within us that wants to be expressed. And we recognize that in who we are and how we show up in the world. Ernest Holmes, who started the Science of Mind philosophy, which Centers for Spiritual Living is founded on, had this to say, that the divine plan is one of freedom. The bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. Forever seeking to express ourselves. We let go of limitations, we're released from the bondage of false thinking, and we listen to our inner voice. It tells us a life wonderful in its scope, and of love beyond our fondest dreams, and a freedom that our soul craves. A freedom that our soul craves. And you can feel it inside of yourself. You can feel that need to be free. It doesn't mean without boundaries, but sometimes in our lives, we can feel like we're like almost like we're in a box. And the box is around us, and we can feel the confines of it, and there's something inside of us that wants to be free of that box. And it seems like the box is closing in on us, getting smaller. As a friend of mine says, our karma is catching up with us as fast as we run in our lives, but it still catches up with us, and it feels limiting. But you know what? The walls in our lives are not getting smaller. It's that within us that wants to grow bigger, and it feels the confines of the limitation that it is. And we want to move out of that box. We're aware of that box. And we know that it is this freedom that we crave that seeks to express through us as us. The genuine aspects of who we are and how we go forth. This is the freedom that I seek this 4th of July. Thomas Jefferson, of course, one of the founders of this nation, in the Jefferson Memorial in D.C., if you've ever seen that, there's a long quote underneath the statue of him. But there's part of it that I really resonate with during this talk, and it says, he was talking about cultural institutions, but we can compare it to our lives too. And he said, we might as well require a person to wear the coat which fitted him when he was a boy. So think of that box or that coat that we still wear that is this limitation we feel, and we open up. So how do we get free of this box? How do we move past it? We want to do it consciously, because my concern, if we just break out of it, if we just push our way out of it without consciousness, that limitation that we have will still show up because we haven't done our inner work. I don't know about you, but I've experienced that in relationships, in jobs, in different situations in my life. When I didn't do the inner work, I would say it was that relationship. I would say it was that situation, that job, and now I'm free of it, and then I get into a new relationship, a new job, and I'm experiencing the same thing. What's the common factor? Me, right? It's the inner work I need to do, so it's this inner freedom we need to do. So as I went through this idea, I was actually listening to it was Pandora or something, and 4th of July, the Katy Perry song came up about You're a Firework. And actually, the lyrics for that song has inspired me kind of to guide this talk today. So let me read you the lyrics. So, do you know there's still a chance for you, she sings, because there's a spark in you. You just got to ignite the light and let it shine. Just own the night like the 4th of July. You are a firework. So to claim that spark in you that's always in there, it's innate, it is the birthright. You sang that in one of your first songs. It is a birthright of who we are, this divinity within us, this spark that is the truth of who we are. And when we claim it, when we know it, when we recognize it, then we ignite that spark, and then we live and shine that light. So first of all, let's talk about that identity that we claim the spark that's inside of us. We are a spiritual being. We're having human experiences, but we are this spiritual being. And there's a spark inside of us, and that is who we identify with, not the stories, not the things we tell ourselves, not what other people tell us. We need to be clear on our identity. I was at the library the other day, and there was some kids there, young kids, and the librarian was there talking to them about the upcoming 4th of July, and she said, isn't it, we live in this country and we're all free. And a little boy stood up and goes, I'm not free, I'm 4. So it's important to know who you are, whether you're 44 or 84 or 104. That we are free and we are this spiritual identity. That's who we really are. And as we live this understanding of who we are, this greatness of who we are, it's important that, just like Deanna was singing about the stories we tell ourselves from the past that limit us, because this becomes our box. This becomes our limitation, that we let go of those. I find it fascinating that all the religions in the Abrahamic tradition, the Jews, Muslims, and Christians, share some of the same stories. And although they have different interpretations, in fact, different parts of this story, they still use those stories to sometimes limit themselves. So Abraham was one of the great prophets in the Old Testament. And he had two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. And there was a controversy over, because Ishmael was his firstborn, his first male, and he was supposed to receive the birthright. But Isaac, through a long story that I don't want to go in the whole story, but he's one ending up receiving the birthright that Abraham gave him. And Ishmael started the Arabic nations, and Isaac was the founder of the Jewish nations. So there's controversy over who receives the birthright, which is a claim to the land, which is a claim to Jerusalem. But it's not only these stories that fuel a conflict, because if you read the stories, there's also, there was a terrible violence in Bangladesh as well as in Baghdad. Just this morning I was reading. And these are stories among Muslim people, with the Hindus and other religions, and their stories they tell themselves about being harmed in their past life, about who killed who, and the blood that is shed, and that there need to be revenge, the eye for the eye. And we know that leaves us all blind, as Gandhi said. That we all need to let go of the stories that continue us in this limitation, in this box, and us personally, how we live this. That we just simply let those go and redefine and remember who we are. Because what holds us to the truth is spiritual principle that's all around us. That it's not, when we're talking about freedom, we're not talking about just doing whatever we want. We have free choice. That's part of this freedom. But what the structure is not our own limitations, not our own stories that we have, that we can move past, that we can let go of, that we can rewrite our story. But it's this, the truth of our being, the structure is the spiritual principle. The principle of freedom, for instance. The principle of attraction. The principle of oneness that is all around us. The truth of the spiritual essence of who we are. These principles provide us with a structure that is not limiting, because it grows with us. It allows us to move and be as we want, but it provides us this knowingness. It grounds us in what is truth about who we are. And we can always count on it, no matter what kind of experiences we've had in our lives of being hurt or trampled or betrayed. There's always God coming through us in a greater freedom. And the principle is there to guide us. That is spirit too, for it is all spirit. We know that. I was so touched by the stories of the Angel Action Wings, they're called, during the memorial services in Orlando for the victims of the shootings in the bar there. And what those are, if you didn't see those pictures, and they've been at other memorials, particular church in Kansas that protest services for U.S. armed servicemen, as well as services for gay men and women. And what they do is they construct these large wings out of kind of PVC pipe or something, and then drape them with white sheets, creating the appearance of a huge angel. And they stand and create this wall for all those coming for the memorial service, and wall against, on the other side, are the protesters. And the particular story I saw where these angels showed up, they had created a whole wall and were singing Amazing Grace and just creating this space for the people to come who are grieving the loss of their loved one. And on the other side were these people protesting with hateful signs and yelling, and nobody going to the service could hear them at all. They only heard the songs of Amazing Grace and saw these angels guiding them. For me, this is a metaphor for God, for a spiritual principle that's always in our life, that's there for us, to providing the structure for us to live. And we can dance and play and be willing to be vulnerable and let go of the stories and the beliefs that we think keep us going, that we have to be a certain way, that we have to do it because that's the way we've survived. And yes, that is the way you've survived. And thank God those were in place to help you get here, but you don't need them anymore. And with spiritual principle here guiding you and allowing you to be this love, allowing you to forgive, allowing you to be this loving kindness in all you do. And allowing yourself to find this spark, even when you can't find it, allowing yourself just the time and the quietness to find it. And once you find that spark, to ignite it, to light it up, to really feel the passion of spirit within you, the truth of your being and the power and the love that is always there. It's the goodness of light. It's the goodness of God that is there. And it's always good. It's always there. And we can depend and rely on that in all things we do. If you think about this box that's there, that we are, I think there's value in feeling the edges. The edges in our lives are things that are uncomfortable for us, things that we might be resistant to doing, but we know we're being called to do them. If we know we're supported by the universe, why would we hesitate to move past them? Now, I don't believe in breaking the walls down with our anger. I know at times we can feel angry and frustrated at situations in our lives or the way we've been treated. But once again, if we bust through the walls, then the walls are going to come back. We need to do it consciously and mindfully. Feel what we need to feel, which is often sadness and grief, something currently or something in the past. But we need to feel it. We need to allow it. And also, feelings are a signpost for the beliefs we have down deeper. So as we become aware, this consciousness that we have as we are igniting the fire within us, everything that's not this fire comes to the surface, and we can simply let it go, let it be. And that's allowing these walls just to disappear. Our stories move to the side. And suddenly that which we thought was restricting us is not even there. And it can even be in the same relationship, the same job, the same situation that we are in all the time. And suddenly there's a freedom in there that people in our lives are responding to us differently. They're the same people. But we are different. And because our consciousness has changed, life around us has changed. And there are times that we need to move on from a situation, but why don't we give it the chance to change within ourselves first, and then we find that clarity. Then we find that truth of who we are. And it's through the softness of being. David White, one of my favorite Irish poets, said this, that sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. So sometimes it takes some quietness, some aloneness, some confinement of the boxes, limitations in our lives to learn anything or anyone that does not bring you alive, that which doesn't bring you alive, and it's too small for you to let go of it. The box is too small for you, and sometimes people in your life are too small for you. But it's only through mindfulness that we can leave them gently. We don't have to force our way. There's not any damage, any violence or abuse left in our wake. It's a gentleness, a choice that we make, that things are too small for us, because as we expand, we move beyond this. Think of a butterfly that needs the confinement, the caterpillar that needs the confinement to become the butterfly. And that from this place, we can respond rather than react. My wife, Michelle, she's a huge part of awakening in my life, real love. However, before I met her, I was going through a dark time in my life. I had gone through divorce, and not feeling good about myself, low self-esteem, and just thought I wasn't very good at relationships. And then we met at a teen camp, believe it or not. We were both advisors, she from Reno and me from Denver. And as we started talking, we started developing a closeness. And we were at distance, so it was a emotional connection we had. So we texted and called each other a lot. And one morning I woke up to the sound of a text, like 6:30 in the morning or something. I was getting ready for work. I was about to get up to get ready for work, but I was still in bed. I looked at the text, and the text said, "What kind of sick person are you?" I gone, oh no, what have I done now? My stories started coming in about I wasn't worth it. I screwed up another relationship. What am I going to do now? I just should quit all relationships. And then I go, wait. What is this text? I don't know. What does she mean by this? I may be reading too much into this, right? So I text back and go, hi, was this meant for me? And then just a few seconds later, she calls. And in a gravelly, hoarse voice with some coughing, goes, no, you don't understand. I was wondering, see, I'm sick, and I was wondering, when you're sick, what kind of person are you? So what kind of sick person are you is more like, when you're sick, what kind of person are you? See how it's important to stop and respond first, kind of check it out. And we're still together, so it's good. And we found out that when I'm sick, I'm kind of grouchy. Yeah. But that's part of being in a relationship. But it's important to respond and not let the story you tell yourself, the old stories, define how you react to things. Allow yourself to be in the moment and clear and powerful in what you're doing. The light that is always in you, this spark that you ignite it, and you feel the passion of spirit within you that's revealing itself in new ways. The philosopher Heraclitus said, we never step in the same river twice, which means we may meet another person that we know, or we may go to the same job or the same center, but we are not the same person. The center is not the same person. Your job's not the same situation. The person you're meeting is not the same. So why do we expect it to be the same? Spirit is revealing in all of us. Spirit is revealing through this community in great ways. So we just allow that to happen and allow this change and move past these beliefs that we have. And then we shine the light from this passion we have. We shine the light because that is who we really are. Well, not only do we need to respond to it, but we have a responsibility to shine our light because we are conscious beings. We are aware. We are awake of this light. We need to actively shine it in what is and all around us. And it is in the light that all that is not light comes to the surface. And we can continue to hold this truth that our prayers that we hold, or just in our meditation, just in our affirmation, that we hold a greater truth for situations. For example, situations in the Mideast, situations here, areas of strife, that we can hold peace. Now, the 4th of July, you might have the opportunity to do the Pledge of Allegiance. And many years ago, I had to come to a reckoning of my beliefs about this country. And I am so happy I live in the United States. And I'm not always proud of everything we have done in past history, or even proud of everything we do now. I am loyal to the United States, don't get me wrong, but I question sometimes how we go about it. And I advocate through voting and through letters of the way I think I would prefer it to be. And even amongst us, if we did a poll, I'm sure there'd be disagreements of what that is. But I was thinking about this Pledge of Allegiance. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And the phrase under God is an interesting one to me because I don't believe in a God that's up there that we are underneath. So many years ago, I switched it to one nation with God. So that we are one nation with God. But these days, I'm even changing the whole thing, because what I pledge allegiance to is peace in the entire world. And we are all one with God, God that's indivisible, and everybody deserves liberty and justice for all. And this is the freedom I'm talking about. And this is a freedom that's within us that seeks to express through us, and we allow it to be. So in closing, I want to leave you with a quote from Michael Beckwith, one of my favorite spiritual teachers. We are unlimited beings. We have no ceiling. That capabilities, talents, gifts, and powers that are within every single individual on this planet are unlimited. We are unlimited beings. Nothing can stop us except ourselves, right? And that is the truth. Simple prayer. And that would be to just go within and know that which you have released is long gone. It's way in your rear view mirror. And what is happening through you right now is a great and glorious truth, a great and glorious freedom that is coming through you. That your growth, your consciousness, your everything is opening up to a greater life. And we also know this community is expressing this perfection too, and it is opening up to greater growth in consciousness and in numbers, that there is a truth abiding within it that supports it, and the universe supports this intention. We know this to be the truth, and so it is.
So it is. I see you as you truly are. Your magnificence shines through. You are perfect, exactly as you are. There is no one else like you. You make a difference. I'm glad to know you. I wanna thank you. Let me show you the you that I see. When you look at me, you shine so bright. You shine so bright. You are the light. Our expressions, well, they might be different, but our essence is the same. You are star stuff manifested. Yeah. God has called you by your name, and the lives you touch are forever changed. You make a difference. I'm glad to know you. I wanna thank you. Let me show you the you that I see. When you look at me, you shine so bright. You shine so bright. You are the light. Next time you're at the mirror, look deep into your eyes and stay right there. Just stay there until you realize you are the light. You are the light. Let me show you the you that I see. When you look at me, you shine so bright. You shine so bright. You are the light. You shine so bright that the darkness shatters, and you live a life that matters. You shine